Tokyo is lit up all year round, but there's something special about this time of year no matter where you are in the world. 'Tis the holiday season, and what better way to celebrate than to share our most memorable gaming holiday memories with each other. Hi, I'm Scruffy looking RGB, and I have something really special to share with you all today. I've asked for the help of fellow YouTube creators to share their special or memorable gaming holiday memories with us, so we can bask in the nostalgic, nerf-hurting glory together in the spirit of Christmas. So sit back, relax with a cozy beverage of your choice, and take a listen to some of these happy holiday retro gaming memories.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Sho. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been tricked by your parents on Christmas Day? This happened to me on the Christmas of 1992, at the crazy young age of 7. Now, I was already living it up with my NES console prior to this moment in time. However, sure as 1992 rolled on, so did the growing hype for the new hotness on the street. Any kid that was in the States knew that hotness as the Super Nintendo. Of course, I had to ask my old man if I could have this brand new magical device. How could you not? And truth be told, I got shut down every single time I asked. Sorry, son, it's too expensive. When he said this, we were at our local Toys R Us as people were just getting ready for Christmas. Shoot on over a couple months to Christmas Day, and we had our morning. Opening up the first few packages, I received some clothes, and a couple of Hot Wheel toys and Transformers, then more clothes. I thanked my mom and tried my best to show appreciation for what I was given. However, just before I got started playing with my toys, I could hear my old man upstairs. Son, there was something else Santa forgot to put under the tree. I'm over here thinking like, oh, for real? He walks down the stairs with multiple boxes in his hands, then drops them in front of me, asking me to open up the largest one first. I turn to that box and I rip that thing open. And what was under all that wrapping but a heckin' Super Nintendo? I just remember toppling over the smaller boxes and jumping into my old man's arms. I jumped down, then tore through the next couple of boxes. And you couldn't believe what I got from this. Super Mario World, Pilot Wings, Super Mario Kart, Ys 3, freaking Turtles in Time. All of this in one shot. Why? When? It was a dream come true. It definitely sits in my mind as the best Christmas ever. And that, my friends, is my favorite Christmas story. With that said, I'm kicking it back to Scruffy. Peace.
My most memorable game-related Christmas moment has to be the Christmas of '86, because that is the year fellow retro game lovers know is the Christmas the Nintendo Entertainment System came to be.
What's it like to play the Nintendo Entertainment System?
And I'd been wanting one ever since the local community center got one. Me and a bunch of other kids from the neighborhood would hang out there all day long, or as long as we could, just to play it. It was so fun, but we had to take turns and wait. You know how frustrating Super Mario Bros. Can be, especially when you just touch the controller and die right away. Then you've got to wait for 5 to 10 other kids before you get your next turn. So I really was begging my parents for one from that September or October or whenever it was. And when Christmas Eve came and I got to open that big box underneath the tree, it was like magic. The jubilation that ensued, oh man. I played that thing from the moment it was hooked up all the way into the wee hours of Christmas morning. Probably my very first game binge, featuring Mario Brothers, Ninja Kid, and Zelda. Oh, a glorious time it was. And that Christmas is one of my most memorable of all my gaming memories for certain.
Oh, didn't see you there. Sorry, I was just reading a review of Killer Instinct on Game Boy. 91%. Marvellous. Well, I'm Tom from Victory Post Gaming, and I've got a little gaming related Christmas story to tell you. See, back in 1993, my brother and I had just acquired a Super Nintendo for the first time, but we didn't really have that many games. So when it came to Christmas, my parents decided to get us a game that forever changed the way that me and my brother would play games together for the future. That game, as we opened up all the wrappers, was Street Fighter 2 Turbo. We were allowed to play it all the time until dinner was ready on that eve, and so began the reason why me and my brother hate each other so much. I say hate, we do actually love each other, but when it comes to gaming, this is the reason why we're now so competitive. We spent the whole afternoon punching and kicking each other, as we also decided to punch and kick each other in the computer game as well. But it's the game that made me that much more excited to play fighting games, and it also meant that I actually had to try and learn to play them, because originally I couldn't play any of them, nor could I do any of the special moves. And so since then, I've made sure to always be the better brother. Either way, that's my Christmas gaming story. Happy holidays to you, and thanks to Scruffy for letting us be on this, and I'll catch you next time. Have a good gaming day. Now what's this about an Ultra 64? I'm pretty sure that's never actually going to catch on.
Hey guys, Adam Retro Moments, and my favorite Christmas moment is when I got the N64 that I still have today. And basically I already had a PS1, and I was begging to my parents to get me an N64 because I was playing it at a friend's house. And they're like, no, you already have a PS1, like why would you need another gaming system? That doesn't make sense. But when Christmas Eve came, lo and behold, I got the N64 and I still have it today. And yeah, I was so surprised and also so excited to have the N64. Apart from the console that I got with the 2 controllers, I also got the Diddy Kong Racing that I still have today, complete in box, and Super Mario 64 Classic, and also Mario Kart 64. So these 3 games were holding up for a long time.
Welcome, fellow scruffy-looking nerf herders and retro enthusiasts. This is the Evercade Effect, and I'm Retro Gildish 9! And my friend scruffy-looking RGB asked me to come on and share a holiday story. So, the one I'm going to pick, it's back around my Christmas in 86 or 87. And I was born in 79. And if y'all remember, the Nintendo Entertainment System came out in 85, and I was introduced to it by one of my close buddies, and I just thought it was a thing of magic and wonder. A few of my friends had it, and I was just dying. I needed it. That's just really what I wanted for Christmas. And I can remember at the time, or the year leading up to actually, my father had, some type of commission sales job, and I remember he said that if this deal came through, that they would just get it for me. And then
hell, it's only money, as Rockefeller said.
The deal didn't come through, so I didn't get it then. But what was awesome too to remember is back then, my parents, the TV that they had, it was one of those ones that were like in a wooden console, had input channels, and more importantly, had AV out, which is crazy, right? For back then. And so it was like the perfect TV for a gaming system. And I could just remember on Christmas, like I think I was pretty sure I knew I was gonna get it, and I got it! And the package that I got was the Nintendo that came with 2 controllers, the Zapper, and the Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt multi-cartridge. I was just thrilled. And then I got a few games with it. I don't know if y'all know Jackal. That's like an awesome, very difficult, shooter type game, except you're a Jeep and you can do 2 players at the same time. And then I had Spy vs. Spy. That game was just totally awesome. And then Metal Gear. Yeah, I remember those three titles. And yeah, that started me off. I mean, before then, yes, my first console was an Atari 2600, but getting that Nintendo was so memorable, such a great system, and I did nothing for 3 days but play Nintendo.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it was totally awesome. I totally love it. real quick, if y'all wouldn't mind doing me a favor, go ahead and check out my channel. youtube.com/retrokill-9. You can do a search for the Evercade Effect. Follow me on all my social medias. It would really help me out and grow the channel. That's where I go ahead and I talk about everything Evercade related and retro related. And thank you so much, Scruffy, for having me come on and share my story.
You must die. I alone am best.
Hello everybody, Jim here, aka Kid Shoryuken, joining Scruffy looking RGB today, which is kind of ironic, because I am in fact the one who is scruffy looking right now. But he asked me to share a precious Christmas memory with everyone, and I had to think about it for a little bit, because there are quite a few, you know, as a gamer growing up. Basically every Christmas asked for video games, and was usually lucky enough to get them. And there were, you know, plenty of Christmases I could think of, maybe like the year I got my PS2 with a copy of Grand Theft Auto 3, and then just never stopped playing it. I think I totally spaced everything else out that Christmas and just played Grand Theft Auto 3. The year I got my Dreamcast was obviously awesome. But when I really think about it, probably the happiest Christmas gaming memory I have was 1993. We had just moved, me and my family, to a new house in a new town. It was myself, my brother, and my sister. And unfortunately, we did not have any video games in the house because our NES, right before we moved, had been stolen. It was my brother's NES, I guess, and he had brought it over to someone's house for a sleepover, and unfortunately, somehow, someway, someone absconded with the NES. So for months and months on end, we had no video games at home. It was like a living nightmare. We had to go and play outside, or, you know, find other things to do with our time. But that Christmas, 1993, I was 7 years old, and under the tree, there's stuff for each of us individually, but then there was this one big box that was for everyone, and we opened it up, and it was a Super Nintendo Entertainment System. And I just remember the build-up that Christmas, seeing the commercial on TV where it was like a car salesman or something like that, and he's telling you, you know, you get the Super Nintendo, it comes with Super Mario World Standard, and if you mail in this thing, then you get Super Mario All-Stars sent in the mail to you. And so I just remember that commercial, seeing it over and over again, and just like salivating, desperately wanting a Super Nintendo. And that year, yeah, we got our Super Nintendo that Christmas morning. It was like amazing. I mean, I remember opening up, you know, getting like toys that Christmas. It was 93, so I whatever I got, it was like Street Sharks or Power Rangers, probably. I got a bunch of Power Rangers stuff. Actually, yeah, now I remember that. I remember the Megazord thing I got, and the little Power Rangers and stuff. So yeah, so that was great aside, right? 7 years old, getting a bunch of Power Rangers. That was fun. But we got our Super Nintendo. I mean, we unboxed it immediately, hooked it up, and then we were just like entranced playing Super Mario World. Just having a great time. And then my mother making this like really great Christmas dinner for us. So just, you know, eating this like great food, and I don't know, it was great. It was like our first Christmas in that house, and it was a really good one. It was a house that day full of like happy kids and happy parents, I guess. And we were playing Mario and eating turkey and ham and pumpkin pie with like copious amounts of Cool Whip on it. And that was just like a great, great day. Probably one of the best days of my life, as a matter of fact. So there you go. There's my precious Christmas gaming memories. So thank you very much, Scruffy, for inviting me on. Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. Feliz Navidad, all that good stuff. See you later.
Yo, what's up, rockers? I want to take you back to 1991, and more specifically, Christmas in 1991. You see, up until that point, I was rocking this. This was the only gaming console I had, and obviously it's the Atari Lynx, and it's a nice portable 16-bit handheld system. However, most of my friends at that point in time were rocking this. And naturally, this is what I wanted for Christmas in 1991. However, Old St. Nick had different plans for me. You see, he wanted me to get this, the Super Nintendo. And at the time when I got this console and I opened it up on Christmas Day, I was disappointed. You see, at the time, 6-year-old me had no idea what the Super Nintendo was. And thankfully I was smart enough to open up the console at the time and play Super Mario World for the first time. Needless to say, I was completely blown away, and the console ended up being one of my favorites of all time. And if this game shelf behind me wasn't more than enough evidence, I don't know what is. Anyway, thank you to Scruffy Looking RGB for letting me come on and talk to you guys about one of my favorite Christmas memories of all time. Y'all look scruffy out there in 2022, alright?
Thanks for having me on to share my memories, Scruff. I've had a lot of great Christmases growing up, but for my absolute best memory, we have to go to a small home in Pearl City, Hawaii, all the way back to the year 1997, when I got a Sony PlayStation and arguably the system's defining role-playing game, Final Fantasy VII. The game was released in the US in September that year, and at school, all I heard was how great the game was, and from the ads and previews I saw in magazines and the commercials I saw on TV, even MTV, 12-year-old me couldn't help but think that, yeah, it's probably the greatest game of all time. I asked for the PlayStation and a copy of FF7 for Christmas, which was a big request and not at all guaranteed to come to fruition. In the months before the big day and without knowing whether or not I'd be the proud owner of a new system and a hit video game for the holidays, I used my chore money to buy a few related items in anticipation. I bought a couple of action figures from Software Etc. and some not-so-official laminated posters at the local Korean trinket shop to hang on my walls, as well as the Versus strategy guide with its awesome cover art and even awesomer poster, the latter of which I immediately hung on the door to my bedroom after taking it home. I remember going on an extended family trip to Maui that fall and reading that guide at the hotel cover to cover, and maybe more than once. Either way, I was ready, and come the morning of December 25th, 1997, my wonderful parents made my fantasies come true. It was everything I'd hoped for and expected, and more, and for the next 6 days, Final Fantasy VII occupied nearly every waking hour of my life. I remember even taking it to my grandma's house for New Year's and playing it in between family meals and fireworks, and when I saw the end credits and cutscene, I played it some more. It was an experience that I'll never forget, one that really changed the way I looked at video games, and one that changed my life. Maybe even physically, since later that year my eyesight suddenly got bad and I had to get glasses, and I've always thought sitting in front of my TV playing Final Fantasy for hours at a time is what caused it. Whether or not it did, I can't really know, but if it did, it was totally worth it. But not really.
Today's question of the day: do you have a favorite holiday gaming memory? Let me know about it down in the comments. You know, I like hearing everyone's stories. Since we're sharing stories today, I'd like to hear your own story. So go ahead and drop me a line. My deepest appreciation goes out to all the YouTubers who took the time to participate in this little Christmas special. I know how busy this time of the year is for everyone especially, so I really do appreciate your willingness, time, and effort. Thank you guys so much. I wish you and your families a happy holiday season filled with love and great time. Each of the lovely folks who helped me out with today's video are good friends, and I consider them great retro game related content creators. By all means, please check out their channels. They'll be linked in the description below, and in the spirit of Christmas, give them a sub and a like or two. I'd really appreciate it, and they'd appreciate it too. And to all my supporters out there, friends and family alike, a happy holidays to you, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. Take care everyone, and remember, stay scruffy.
Who's scruffy looking?